One.
You know, I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. And before we get to this next story, you do realize, Amanda, the real difficulty the illegals that are in this country committing crimes have. What is it? Come on. What do you think the biggest difficulty that the illegals that are in this country committing crimes, what can they not do? Oh, to hell with it. I asked you to Sam, get back in your room. I tell you, are you in the control room or not?
Now we are.
Now we.
I'm sorry, you know good sir. What was your question?
My question was, do you know what illegals that are in this country committing crimes have so much difficulty doing?
I don't.
All in the wall.
Checking out a library book.
What?
Oh.
It's virtually impossible. I will explain in a minute. I mean, the difficulties of going to the library and checking out a book. I will explain if you hang tight. Okay. I'm your host, BKP. At 10 o'clock, North Georgia's only live online morning show. Well, that would be me. All right. Let me back up. At 10 o'clock, instant replay with Dave Garner. You know, can you do me a favor and get something that goes in my TV set that when I say instant replay, it says instant replay? Really?
Yes, I will do that.
Okay. If you and Sam weren't in there all morning playing tiddlywinks.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
You don't even know what I just said.
I don't even know what that is.
You don't even know what that is, do you?
No. If it involves working hard, yeah, that's what we're doing.
No, tiddlywinks. When I was growing up, I know we have to get one of my growing up stories. When I was growing up, my dad, every time we were not getting our work done or whatever, he accused us of being out there playing tiddlywinks. Get back to work, quit playing tiddlywinks. And I'm like, I don't know what the hell tiddlywinks is. Why do you keep saying that to me, Dad? So anyhow.
So you had the same reaction as I did. Minus the dad part.
All right, minus the dad part. Okay, so anyhow, this is a live show, instant replay at 10 o'clock and head coach, Pickens Dragon head coach Chris Parker is going to be live video. We're going to show you something that we can do here in the sports. Head football coach Pickens Dragon is going to be talking about. Hey, can I be in on that?
No, you cannot. It's not your show.
But he's going to be live on there, and I want to argue with him.
Nope. Not going to happen. Not your show.
Dave Garner will have Chris Parker, head coach of the Pickens Dragons, on live video right there on the TV, right?
I put it up there for you.
Right. Okay. So don't miss that. Anyhow, graduation. Let's talk about that just a minute. Graduation is the next couple weeks. And FetcherNews.com, we have put our teams together to cover that. When we cover a graduation, I think we have like 4 or 5 scheduled this year, that we document the entire day from the beginning of your students showing up to be at graduation to the final walk across the line and get your diploma. So we have a great time there. We're getting ready for graduation. And I think the students down at Pickens County High School, the Dragons will be walking across a new turf field for graduation on that Saturday morning with a Jumbotron in the background. All right, so I tell you this, I know you think I was joking, right? Put up, Rahm feels everybody that comes to the country, Rahm Emanuel, the mayor of Chicago, feels everyone that comes to the country illegally should get an opportunity to get a key to the city. Put up the city key card. This is the city key card, okay? This is a true story, all right? Folks, really, how are we going to stop? I mean, thank God Chicago's leading the way again, and Emanuel launches municipal IDs for undocumented immigrants and others. Yeah. Mayor Rahm Emanuel on Thursday launched a municipal ID card for people, and this came out. I think this came out April 26th. ID card for people in the county illegally and other Chicagoans as a piece of outreach to Hispanic voters. Yes. There will be a kiosk. No questions asked. You slide in $10. It takes a picture of you. I swear to God, it takes a picture of you and it puts it on this. Yeah, then you just go vote. I swear to God. I swear.
Like that.
Just like that. Hispanic voters and others oppose to President Donald Trump's immigration. Starting Monday, the IDs will be available. All right? At Kennedy King College in Inglewood, the first location where people can get them, all right? Other neighborhood spots will have IDs after that. There'll be other neighborhood spots where you can go to the kiosk and the card will be available at first by appointment. Kicking it off the ground. Let me see. Wait a minute. This is what is funny. All right? This is the other one, and we'll get past it. I swear to God. You can't make it. Chicago introduces, this came out this week. Chicago introduces new city key identification card program. Chicagoans can now sign up to be a part of the city's new municipal identification program and unlock perks throughout the city. All right? Rahm Emanuel and other city community leaders introduced a new program inside the Field Museum Thursday morning. The Chicago City Key will be a 3-in-1 card to help people consolidate some of the cards in your wallet, you know, the mess. It will act as a valid government-issued ID and a library card. I swear to God. See, I tell you, it'll act as a library card. You will also have a library card in your pocket. You know, that's the hardest thing illegals have is trying to get that library book, you know, when they're trying to go in and check out a library book, and then they go right. If you live in Chicago, this is what Mayor Emanuel said, Rahm Emanuel, if you live in Chicago, you should feel a part of our city. You know what? Do you realize if you fly into Chicago today, and you're there for 4 days, and you run into one of these kiosks, you say to your buddy, hey, give me $10, let's horse around. And you put it in, right, and you get your picture. It's coming. And they're putting it in place now. They will have key points throughout the city to where there's no questions asked. You do not have to bring anything, do anything, no questions asked. If you live in Chicago, you should feel a part of the city, not apart from it. Emanuel said, the city key breaks down barriers and allows all Chicagoans to take advantage of the very best our city has to offer. That would be your tax dollars, your votes. The city key card program has been years in the making. We've been working incredibly hard with community members, legal professionals, and they haven't been working with legal professionals because it's against the law. Oh, and city departments to create a program that's accessible to all Chicagoans. Regardless of your residence, housing status, criminal record, immigration status, or gender identity. You get that? This is regardless of. You get this, it don't matter who you are. What's your regardless of, okay? Regardless of residence, housing, status, criminal record, immigration status, or gender identity, you can get this card. Oh, absolutely. I mean, you know what? I was excited that I had an Ingles Advantage card and I get a discount on my groceries. You know?
Yeah, for real.
Some folks can't get a place to live, can't get a job, can't do a lot of things, especially vote illegally, if they don't have an ID. So this will be very helpful to them. No questions asked. I'm trying to tell you. Period. That's it. The city key card brought to you by the City of Chicago, soon probably coming to LA, New York. I don't doubt, I wonder if these candidates, I think I might ask Casey Cagle if he will make sure Atlanta never is allowed to issue a city key card so illegals can get a library book. Okay, we're pushing up on 9:30. I'm not done yet. I have a couple more things, and then Amanda has a story at 9:30. Amanda, do me a favor.
What's that?
Will you look something up?
I will.
Okay, I didn't get a chance to look the article up, but supposedly 15 states, supposedly just type in Google, 15 states are floating the idea of taxing opiates, the opiate manufacturers. See if you have that on the list somewhere. All right? John Tester needs to go, folks. Let's talk about that. I got 8 minutes. John Tester needs to go. All right? And he is the Democrat. He is the Democrat senator from Montana. Tester made up allegations about Ronnie Jackson. Actually just heard some rumors. Come to find out, Ronnie Jackson, they could not verify any of Tester's claims. But Tester was sent out to blow this nomination up. Set out to blow it up. Because the VA, although even on the All-Star Panel Friday, Rick said he was concerned if Ronnie Jackson could actually manage the VA. The VA is a behemoth, folks. Now, let me make sure this is understood. I want to get two parts in here. The VA needs broke down, torn apart, and built back up, while at the same time making sure we continue and increase the service and benefits to our veterans. That should not lack at any time. But the VA is a monstrosity in the deep state. It's the second largest agency, like 360,000 employees, okay? The bureaucracy is enormous, okay? Go to Washington, D.C. You see the families go to Washington, D.C. for the summer to take their trips, and they put up the picture of the Washington Monument, and they put up the picture of the family in front of the Lincoln Monument and the World War II Monument and in front of the White House and all the above. Very seldom do you go to Facebook and you see the pictures of like the VA, like the 9-story building that is a behemoth that takes up almost a city block, and it says the Veterans Administration. No, you don't see those pictures. Or Department of Education. This broke completely down. Ronnie Jackson was selected by the President of the United States, his personal physician, which we find out that Ronnie Jackson will not be going back to being the president's physician. He will not. He will not have that position any longer. My God, who will Donald Trump find to come out and tell people he will live to 200 years now? I mean, my God, what if the next White House doctor next year gets him a physical and Ronnie Jackson was wrong, and we get to come out on the news and say, we knew all along Ronnie Jackson was not the guy for the job. Rear Admiral Ronnie Jackson, John Tester totally lied about this man. There were found 4 incidents of 4 incidents that caused damage to a vehicle. One was truck came by and slammed the mirror off. Folks, if you live in the city, all right, bumpers, things like that, none of them were drinking related. Nothing came out in the White House prescription room. Nobody came out and validated anything Tester said. A group of Republicans were concerned. A group of Republicans in the Hill article. You remember last week, I don't know if you remember, Amanda, I read the whole entire Hill article, and what I stressed to you last week is it continued to talk about Republicans, many top Republicans concerned. Republicans are talking about how they're concerned if these allegations are true, and they piled on. They helped Tester right out here. Nothing Ronnie Jackson, nothing that was brought up, drinking on the job, never validated, never confirmed. Hey, giving out the pills, Candyman. You know what? They said, hey, that was kind of like a joke. Here comes the Candyman down the aisle. You know, we need an ambulance so we could sleep on an international flight. All of it was wrong, totally. This man was totally, this guy alone, totally tried to destroy a rear admiral of the United States of America by lies, deceit, to stop and help to stop him from going to confirmation. Because if Ronnie Jackson would have went back to the President of the United States and said, hey, here's what we need to do, the deep state would we'd be cutting deeper into the deep state would be coming down a little fast. John Tester should resign. That's my opinion. I'm sorry for getting a little tongue-tied there. Okay. Before we get to the 9:30, I also want to say this. Arizona teacher walkout. Pension funding, folks. American Federation of Teachers, the president of the American Federation of Teachers, isn't that interesting? That's the federation, man. American Federation of Teachers is headed out there to participate in the Arizona teacher walkout. Now, be careful of all of the states that say they have fully funded. This is the beginning. It's just the start. Be careful of every state that tells you they have fully funded the schools, your schools. Be careful of every state that says we've addressed teachers' pensions. Be careful with that. Now, I am pro-teacher. I just am. A promise was made to the teachers. A promise that cannot be kept or may not be kept. A promise that cannot be kept without actually taking the money out of your pocket. So you've watched Kentucky, you've watched West Virginia, you've watched Oklahoma, you're watching Arizona, folks, you will watch it in Georgia. This is the beginning of the massive blow-up over teachers' pensions and other public sector pensions. Pensions will explode in this country. Something has to happen. State legislatures are going to do one or two things. Either raise taxes on you enormously, or watch this. Let me just float this one out here. People hate when I float one. How about the state of Georgia? Just saying. How about the state of Georgia? Because they love a splost. Oh my God, I've never seen people in my life, a special purpose local option sales tax. These politicians love a splost. And then they love to tell you it's just a penny. Why, Lord, it's just a penny. That's all they love to tell you, right? Watch some smart guy or lady down in the Capitol float out a splost, a penny for teachers' pensions in the state of Georgia. Watch what happens, because they're going to take it out of your pocket, folks. They got to. Watch what's going on in Arizona, because they cannot continue. Teachers' pensions will explode. You didn't hear me say right or wrong. If you're going to teach and you sign up your paperwork and you put yourself in the pension plan and you got a pension plan and they told you were going to get X, I'm not telling you you're wrong because you can't get X. But let me tell you something. If you go over to the bank and say, look, they told me I was going to get X, and they look at you and say, there's nothing in the bank account, there's nothing in the bank account. But then again, you understand, you got all these politicians putting this stuff in your mailbox saying teachers and schools and fully funded, right? You may have to start paying attention to the actual candidate that tells you the truth, that we have to do something where teachers' pensions are concerned, and other pensions for the public sector. All right? Going to have to do something. Going to have to. Something has to change. All right. Everybody can't work for the damn government and get a pension. All right. I should have never said that. All right. That being said, 9:30. Amanda, what do you have?
Good morning. Actually, our beloved Sam has an announcement.
Real quick, before we go to Amanda's segment, I just want you guys all to wish Colonel Poole a happy 88th birthday yesterday.
Well, thank you very much to Colonel. Yes, 88 years young. The Colonel Poole, thank you there.
Okay, so I've got something today, and you'll never guess what it is. I didn't mean to get on a roll with this, but it's another university jab. So the University of Texas is to treat masculinity as a mental health issue.
Oh, hell.
Okay, so
I'm crazy?
Well, are you... Oh, come on. You're a diva.
I am? Did you call me a diva?
Yeah, you're a manly diva, though. You've got the manly traits. Okay.
All right, move on with the...
No, yeah. Don't even get me started there. So, okay, I'm going to read a little bit of this article because this is very important because I went to school for psychology, and this was actually, I remember going through whenever all this, the whole feminism movement and everything got up off the ground years ago, that people like from the University of Arizona and places started writing articles into... there's like a psychology board that you have to study all of your paperwork off of. And I remember seeing these articles and things of how people were trying to channel masculinity into a mental health issue, which, if you think about it, if we're all treating each other equally, what does that make feminism? It makes no sense. But I mean, they're going with it. The Council and Mental Health Center at the University of Texas at Austin recently launched a new program to help male students take control over their gender identity and develop a healthy sense of masculinity. So they want to completely reform what it is to be a man, which is to not be the social norm of a man anymore.
You know what? When you start, I never know where we're going. So, what do they want to do? So there's no longer boys will be boys?
No longer. That's what they want. I'm telling you, it's getting to the point where I just don't even want my kids to set foot in a college. I don't. Like this is a real thing too. And if you ever go on campuses or anything, not so much around here, because we live in a very rural area, but campuses are becoming this.
Well, I hate to sound so strong and offensive here, but you're wrong. You go to some of our local campuses, you'll get caught off guard.
You are right.
They're changing daily.
You are right, but
now don't take that wrong. I know what you're saying, okay?
But think of the difference between like our University of North Georgia Blue Ridge campus, and then the difference between there and Kennesaw State University. It is a big difference.
I agree with you 100%. But here's another thing I'm saying: is I like UGA football, okay?
Right.
But the kid comes home and says he's going to UGA, and mom and dad say go Dogs. Wow, I'm not about that. I think these major state indoctrination centers have to be broke up. We've got to bring them down.
Yeah,
we have to. Now, when I say bring them down, I mean we have to bring them back within, and I'm afraid they're behemoths within these states. Every state, there's not just Georgia, every state has created these behemoths.
It's a superiority complex. And it's so over the top that it's just unrealistic. The things that are taught, the idealisms, everything is so... It's unrealistic. It has nothing to do with actual life or emotions or responsibilities or, anything like that.
Well, what are we talking about? What university is this?
This, the program that's being launched out of is the University of Texas, and this is out of the Austin campus.
And what is it, one more time, they're doing?
The program that they are launching is a takeover their gender identity and develop a general healthy sense of masculinity. So it's an anti-masculinity program. And it's called Masculine UT is the program's name.
It's called what?
Masculine UT, which is, I guess, utilization.
I mean, we're only one step away, folks, but I'm not saying what it's from. All right, just last week we had a cry closet in Utah, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? Whenever we get some time, I do want to show the Tucker Carlson video of him trying to get her to explain the cry closet.
Oh, did Tucker try to get somebody to explain what the cry closet?
And it's hilarious. He knocked it out of the park. It is so funny. So I'll get that up for us.
Oh, I thought I would die when I saw the rules to the cry closet. Okay, listen, is that it?
That's all I got.
All right, well, stick around a minute. I tell you, stick around.
I stuck around.
Sadly to say, Alfie Evans died.
Yeah, I heard.
And Alfie died, and I tell you what, we need to be afraid, very afraid in this country for what we watch take place.
Not only just for this country, but for Western socialization. It's all of the Western culture. Well,
let me just say this. What I wanted to say before I take my last break of the day, because you brought this, first, again, I want to thank you for bringing this to my attention. And second, this is exactly why, whether we overturn Roe v. Wade in this country, whether you believe that we should in this country, this right alone, Alfie Evans, is the reason why you have to maintain a strong pro-life movement in this country. You have to. You can never give up any ground that you have. And there has to be a strong pro-life movement, okay? Right down to it's a disgrace for any one of our politicians to give 1 penny of our tax money to Planned Parenthood, all right? You have to have a pro-life, strong pro-life movement in this country, because Alfie Evans, now look, you can believe however you want to believe, but we watched last week where totally the decision was taken away from these young parents, right, Amanda?
They were.
If one of your children, you have 3 kids, if one of your kids was to get sick, would you want the government not to tell you if there was a country that said, hey, and there was people, if you have friends in your church that we're going to pay the airfare, we're going to pay all the expenses, we want you to take your child out of the hospital, they have said there's nothing else they can do, and we have a hospital in India, and we will pay for the transport on the plane, and they'll receive your son on the other end. Should that not be your decision?
It will be my decision.
It will be.
Yeah.
All right, Alfie.
Die trying.
Huh?
Or die trying.
Die trying. Well, these kids almost did die trying, I got to say. Is it John and Kate? Did I get that right?
Yeah.
John and Kate, these 2 young kids. Our hearts go out to these young kids, these parents that lost Alfie Evans over the weekend after the feeding tube was removed from the government, after the life support system was removed from the government, after the government told them they could not take their child home to die, to be with them at home, after the government said they could not go to Italy, even though the Pope had offered the Vatican's health care services to the child. All the above, right?
It's horrible.
Okay, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap up the show. I got a couple final thoughts I think you want to stick around for, and a couple more stories I want to cover before we end the show today and get into Instant Replay with Dave Garner. Take us to break, Amanda.